Have you made it back?
I have not made it back to Pittsburgh in a while, regrettably.
Is he still in Switzerland?
Yes, he's still in Pittsburgh.
Okay, let's go with it. How does it feel, the two of you being back together?
Well, I was told that he missed me so desperately that they had to bring me back.
I couldn't get out of bed in the
He
morning.
was refusing to leave his trailer. He wasn't eating.
Did you have to be persuaded to come back? Did you want to come back? How did that all work out?
Oh, the fans were insistent, and it's an honor to be back on their behalf.
So it didn't take a no-brainer then for you? I mean, it was immediate?
People seem to have pretty strong feelings, and that seems like something worth listening to.
So what's the overall arc of the season for you guys? What is are you going to be separated and try to get to one another? Can you give us any kind of a hint on where that is?
What we've been allowed to say is that Dr. Sara is reintroduced relatively quickly, and Michael and Sara have to figure out how to find their way back to each other after some extreme events that have happened to both of them. They're very changed from the people that we met first season. When she was a doctor, he was an inmate at Fox River State Pen,
Right.
and the question is now, who can they be to each other? What are they to each other in this very new, still deadly set of circumstances?
And I think the lingering question on both of their minds is that have they changed so much in trying to find one another again that they're now not the people that they fell in love with?
So are they still in love with one another? Is that the core of the question?
Are they still lovable to the other person?
Why do you think that their relationship works when they are together? I mean, in this brief time that they had been together, why do you think that they... Where's the love then? What about each other do you think in those characters?
I think they're both people who believe very strongly in loyalty and in family. And they're both unequivocal people, so it's easy for them to respect one another.
Yeah.
You agree with that?
Of course, the question becomes, I think Michael started out with a very fine-tuned and unshakable sense of right and wrong, of what he had to do, of what is justice, what is injustice, which I think he and Sara had in common. At this point, especially in Sara's absence, Michael's gotten his hands even dirtier than they were before. So for Michael, the question is, do I still deserve this woman? Do I still have that sense of justice that she might have responded to? Am I worthy of happiness? Exactly. Am I deserving of this relationship?
How does it feel for you shooting in LA?
What's that?
How does it feel shooting in LA, being back in LA with the two each other?
It's bittersweet. I like Dallas a lot. I enjoyed filming there. I felt very responsible for the crew. We were the only gig in town, so when we left, that was kind of it. But it's nice to crawl into your own bed at night. It's nice to be home.
Wentworth, what did you think when you read the script and it appeared that Dr. Tancredi was dead?
It occurred to me that we've gotten away with worse. I mean, the show is and has always been a roller coaster ride, and I think our fans appreciate these twists and turns, no matter how bizarre they might be.
Have you thought about, given the subject matter, is it the type of show that could have gone 1 year, 2 years, just because of the subject matter, and yet the fans have been so loyal to it that here we are several years down the line and it's still kind of bucking the odds. Do you take time to kind of step back and consider things like that?
I think that's not our department. That's on a long list of things we have no control over, but I do think that what they've tried to do is to reinvent the show every season, so that the show that we started off with has ended, and we're reinventing even more this season, I think, than we have in the past, reinventing the show again. I mean, we're not behind bars, and I think the things that separate us now, the idea of prison is much more internal and much more sort of allegorical.
That's good.
Allegorical. 5 syllables and it's 9 in the morning.
When you've had 2 breakouts in jail, I mean, what's the arc of this season? Can you talk about what's going to happen with the character?
I don't think we're going back to jail. I can tell you that much. There will not
Prison
be.
of the
I don't think there'll be a exactly. I don't think there'll be a third prison break. I think Michael and Lincoln have been pawns in this very deadly game of chess long enough, and it's time to stand and fight. So it's time for the boys to team up with old allies and enemies and take on the company, the conspiracy that destroyed their lives in the first place.
There were some new characters too, right?
That's right. That's right.
So they're less on the run and they're more doing the running towards.
What's
they're
that?
less on the run rather than they're doing more of the running towards
Exactly.
now.
Exactly.
There may in fact, and I don't think we know this for sure, but there may in fact be a break-in involved in all of this, which would be a sort of
Maybe several break-ins.
photo negative of where we've been.
Yeah.
So does this mean, Wentworth, you won't have to spend so much time in a prison this time round? That must be a bit of a relief not to be behind bars.
You know what? I actually enjoyed Michael in prison. I honestly felt that's where my character lived and breathed, where he was at his strongest with the most concrete sense of purpose. It was during second season that I felt he spun out a little bit as a character, which is why I was relieved to find him back behind bars next season.
And this season, then, I mean, are you spinning out once more because you're not behind bars?
This season, it's less about being reactive and more about being proactive. Michael's at his best when he has a plan, and he's got a pretty awesome assemblage of people around him helping him take on the conspiracy. And I really feel that that fourth season for my character might be one of the strongest yet.
What is the tattoo hold any more secrets possibly?
The tattoo, I don't think holds any more secrets. Its use is primarily symbolic at this point, in that it represents an experience that can't be so easily erased.
You have to still go through all that, or are they showing you less with your shirt off?
We actually addressed the tattoo issue fairly early on in fourth season in a very definitive way.
Oh, okay.
Did you attempt to do anything before you started the new season?
What was that, during the strike?
Say what?
During the strike, what were we up to?
Did you do any trip, any movies, any foreign trip, anything like that, or you just stayed home? I mean,
It
you're
was
on
a lot of
so.
a holding pattern, I think, because with the strike, nobody knew when it was going to end, and so nobody knew when we'd be called back to work. I started reading War and Peace. I don't know about you. Did you finish it? It's War and Peace. Are you kidding me? I'll still be reading it in 10 years.
For me, it was an opportunity to go abroad and meet a lot of our international fans.
Where did you go?
I was in Israel, France, Sweden, Italy, and then Germany on a separate trip. And I think that's been one of the most pleasurable experiences working on this kind of show, is that obviously we have a tremendous amount of appreciation for our American audience, but our international appeal is not to be underestimated.
What were the reactions over there? What kind
Before
of,
next question, we just back up a little bit, just give them a little bit of room, move up there a little bit, just so,
Take a little step.
just so it's not so claustrophobic. Thanks, Scott.
We're into that
We're
about,
trying to get to as many questions as possible.
but the international.
Give them a little bit
It's
of
actually a
breathing
nice
space.
it's actually a nice balance in terms of celebrity, because we have a very loyal fan base here in the States, but it's also possible to lead relatively normal lives. Whereas in France, the show is huge, and walking down the streets of Paris felt a little bit like being a rock star.
That was like fun in a way for us, briefly.
It was.
Sarah, can you talk about coming back to your character, having had a baby and being away a long time? What was that like?
It's certainly. I had said goodbye to Sarah, and I'd done my mourning and my grieving for her. Resurrecting her was an interesting process, and certainly a very unexpected one. What I find is that she's a very different person than she was. What happened to her during the third season, which will be revealed, I think, in the first episode, has changed her, and I think changed her irrevocably. And I think her big question is what of her old self she can retain.
I was going to ask where Sarah Tancredi has been in season 3.
You'll see that pretty soon, pretty quickly in the first episode that comes out. She hasn't been in a good place, and it starts to make that Kellerman bathtub scene look a little bit like a picnic.
God, that was
Did we
horrifying.
not see the head?
I thought we did.
I haven't actually seen the third season yet, but I believe you saw a head.
Yeah.
I can tell you
It
it
could be
wasn't my
any
head
head.
personally, insofar as my neck remains unscathed.
How is it coming back? Excuse me.
of the TV show. I know it's a personal choice, but don't you think it's time to do it?
I am not someone who believes that TV is a stepping stone to the world of feature film. I know that kind of bias was once quite prevalent, but for me, doing the show is enough. If the show ends and I don't have a big feature film career, that's fine with me. If I go on and do another TV show or some theater, that will also be fine. As long as I get paid to do what I love, I'll consider myself to be a success.
What's your latest workout routine?
Sitting on the couch, watching episodes of the